Welcome to another episode, and I'm delighted today to introduce you to one of my own mentors, Mandy Nicholson. And she has been a massive part of my journey as a business owner myself. And I want to talk to you about that you don't need to be a starving artist, which Mandy's going to really dive into, which is basically your thing, isn't it? But before we get into that, Mandy, do you want to tell our listeners and watchers what it is that you do?
Okay, so thank you, Dani. Lovely to be here. Hi there, everybody. I am Mandy Nicholson, and I am the Creative Genius Consultant. I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm a creative retreat owner in Scotland, and I help creative women to launch, grow, and scale their businesses and make more money. I do that through my signature programs, the Creative Mastermind and the Ultimate Creative Mastermind, which are 12-month programs, and they are transformative. I have a huge and really good track record of 100% with everybody that's been through the mastermind. So that was my mission: get into the creative space and make change.
And you definitely have done, and I am part of that change.
Yep.
And I'm so proud of what I've achieved, but so grateful as well for the journey we've been on together. So I actually met Mandy through networking. You were a speaker, weren't you, on money mindset?
Mhm.
And that one session, about an hour of my time, and I know people say this all the time, but it did change my life because I started working on my mindset. I developed more of my spiritual self then as well, actually.
Mhm.
And that was a pivotal moment for me working on the money mindset as a creative business owner. And do you find that that is quite a thing that often happens is when they start working on the money mindset? That's the
Mhm.
pivot in the artist journey.
Definitely, and it's included in my mastermind. My money mindset program is included in as part of the mastermind. You get the suite of all of my programs, and it's the first thing I tell everybody to go and do because, and there is a connection there to your spirituality and to your soul, because we have a message around money that we carry through life with us. Most people that I come across that end up in my world don't think they're worthy of charging for their skills and for their knowledge, or even for some of the products that they produce. And that's about money mindset. So if you start like 10 yards ahead of that, then how are you ever going to get to the point of charging? So we do kind of start on mindset and start on that work first. Once you can accept that you are worth a
Yeah.
premium price for what it is you do, it changes everything in your business, and you know this.
Yeah, I definitely know this now. But it's so it comes from like beliefs, doesn't it, and things. But let's talk about the idea of the starving artist. You will explain this a lot better than me. So where does the idea of the starving artist come from?
I think it's almost romanticized and comes out of from like the Impressionist and the Cubist movements in the 1800s, where it was actually seen as cool and trendy to be the starving artist, painting in your loft, not having enough food to eat and waiting for that big break. So it was romanticized, and it's been a myth that's been carried through society that, if you are an artist or if you're a creative, a crafter, a maker, that you're only going to make a small income. You're never going to sell volume unless you sell your soul to the corporate marketing devils. And it's actually doesn't need to be like that, because even I mean, I went to art college and did a degree in art and design, but they didn't teach me business. They sent
Mm.
me out knowing how to be a better artist, but not knowing anything about how I was going to put that to work for me other than I had a degree. So the
Yeah.
starving artist myth has been perpetuated, and it sits like a red thread through society's beliefs. And most artists, and I mean around 80%, are living on the poverty line.
Mm. And it's like I know how passionate you are about changing that as well, because it is a thing, isn't it? And like you say, with leaving. and doing your degree, and then you meet the two in the middle, the creativity and the business, and I
Yeah,
love that because it's obviously aligned with me because it's me
yeah.
all over. But when you meet these creatives and you take them on this journey, as you've talked about, like with your creative mastermind,
Yeah.
when you do that, what's obviously you focus on like the mindset and things like that, but what else do you think we need in terms of surviving, and not just surviving but exceeding past that poverty line as a creative business owner?
I think I mean, your news feeds and your social media are saturated, completely saturated with people telling you that they can teach you how to make millions. Like
Yeah,
it's every other advert. So we're confused starting it off there. We come out of university or college or wherever we've done our qualifications, or we haven't got qualifications as creatives. We've just got really good at doing something by doing it. And there's this huge belief system that doesn't translate into anything tangible. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's about shifting mindset, and then for me helping people is understanding what brings them the greatest joy and how to build a business model around it, because there's so many cookie cutter, copy and paste business models out there. Coaches telling you they can help you build a business, and it's the same as the next coach and the next coach. And I'm not decrying any coaches. I love coaching, and there are some great coaches out there. But you've got to make sure you find the right one. If you
yes,
get a linear coach, somebody who follows a system and you need to do this, and this, and that will work, believe me, that's not going to work for you as a creative, because your mind doesn't go bang, 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 bang. It goes ping, 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 with ideas and shiny objects and all of those things. That's what makes creatives exceptional. So what
yeah,
you need is somebody that understands that and can work with that and mold and create a bespoke business model that suits what you do and how you think and how you behave. And that's me. One of my new clients in the mastermind said to me just yesterday, "You understand me better than my mother,"
wow.
which is huge.
Okay. But I think we find this quite a lot, don't we, in these circles, when as women in business, like I connect with some people and they'll know parts of me, not all of me, but parts of me more than my own family will, my own
Mhm.
sisters will, my own
Yeah,
friends will, that I've known since my best friend. I've been friends with her since I was 11.
yeah,
But on a different level, because these people get it. Other
yeah,
creative, other business, other entrepreneurs. Let's face it, other ADHDers.
yeah,
They
yep.
get shiny object syndrome and the passion with all these ideas. And sometimes I feel like people don't even understand my determination either. Like, I want it, I'll go get it.
No, if it's not them and they don't have your passion and determination, they won't understand it. Why are you doing that when you could be doing this? And your family and friends, you love them and they're important to you, but they'll never understand why you do business because they're not you.
Yeah. And I think it happens to us a lot, but that doesn't have to define us as a creative business owner, does it? We can still go out and do it regardless and still have that family relationship. And like, in my own journey, I did struggle in the beginning with that, but as time's gone on, they take me seriously now. And even
Mhm.
I still feel a bit of a, like, imposter when I say, "Oh, I've made this much money this month," or "I'm doing this." And I even said to my own husband the other day, "I don't feel any different. I don't feel any richer." Because what does rich feel? In fact, this takes me back to that first session I had in that online networking session with you, and you said, "I am what a wealthy woman looks like," and I still have that sat in my mind now. Because you said that as yourself, and you told us that we were what a wealthy woman looks like, and if a wealthy woman looks like me, then it looks like whoever's listening, and it's so true. And that
Yeah.
did stick, and I hope that those listening remember that. But Mandy said this, didn't you, on that session? And it's so so true. And yeah, I still now get that imposter like feeling, but I'm
Yeah.
just like, it doesn't serve me, so I kind of bat it away now.
And that's a skill. It really is a skill to be able to go, yeah, this is what a wealthy woman looks like. I don't have to have the Prada suit and the Jimmy Choos and the Porsche to say I'm a wealthy woman. I definitely don't. I am in, as always, paint splattered outfit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
creative. 'Cause you're creative, so that's the way you do look.
Yeah, it's the way I look, but that I am as wealthy as the next successful coach. But that's not what's important to me. And it's not actually what's important to a lot of creatives. Yes, they want to make more money so that they can have a better lifestyle, mostly so they can buy more paint or crafting materials. Let's face it. Yeah. It's not important. Some of those material things are not important, but they do want a comfortable life. And that's why I say you do not have to be a starving artist. You can have real success. Now, I think the best way to demonstrate that is to talk about a couple of clients that I've worked with. I won't use you, that are creative, that are now having really big success in their businesses. So I won't use their real names, but you can probably guess if you know me. But let's call this one.
I know one that you're going to talk about, actually.
I'm going to use Frida. Yes, I'm going to use Frida. And when Frida came to me, she was ready to put her paintbrushes in the bin. She was making no money. She was fed up, and she found my 5-day challenge, and she did my 5-day challenge, and she actually booked a call after day 1. And we jumped on the call, and she says, you're my final hope. I just don't know. I'm ready to give up. And what happened was she did join. She made the decision to invest in herself, and she joined my program, and we worked really hard on a business model that suited her. And I said to her, look, tell me what it is that brings you the greatest joy in the work that you do. And she was volunteering in a disability centre, helping disabled people to use art to express themselves. And they were creating canvases together. And she said, I love doing that. I love creating this. And I said, well, let's create a business model that encompasses what you love doing. And that's where the signature canvas was born. And the signature canvas is this lady goes to weddings, and she meets with the bride and groom, and they choose their color scheme and they choose their theme. Do they want a forest or do they want a field of flowers? And the guests at the wedding actually participate in creating the canvas. It's like a guest book on the wall. And it goes beyond that, because then you can use the image to have your thank you cards done and lots of other things. And it just becomes something so special. Now, she's booked into 2026. She's got a really successful business. And this was a lady who was ready to put her paintbrushes in the bin. She's now a wealthy artist doing several different things, because as she's grown as a businesswoman, other opportunities have come along as well, and she's been able to see them and jump on them and create additional income streams from them, because once you've got that business knowledge and ability, you're able to look at something in a different way. So that's why I say you don't have to be a starving artist. You have to find a business model that suits what brings you the greatest joy.
I love that, because tapping into the greatest joy, I think, is so important, because we can do something that doesn't fulfill us, even if it makes the money. And I think eventually it stops making us money if it's not serving our greatest good. And I love the idea of building the business model to suit you. Because interestingly, I've been really fortunate with the mentors and coaches that I've worked with, where they have all kind of had a similar belief, because I know a lot of people experience just do what I did, or just do this and just do that. And let's face it, I think step by step, let alone just for creatives, but it doesn't work for all of us, for most of them. And I love that. So with what you do, what would be your biggest tips as a artist? And when we say artist, let's define what an artist is, because it's many things, isn't it? But first, let's define that. And then what would be your biggest tips if you are the starving artist and transforming your journey?
Okay, so let's define the artist. An artist is somebody who creates. So it can be a musician, can be somebody who writes books or poetry. It can be somebody who paints. It can be a crafter or a maker. It can be somebody. I've got somebody on my program that makes soap. handmade soap from natural ingredients. So I've had a huge plethora of different diverse creatives through the mastermind. It's not one thing. If you are creative and you make something from scratch, and it can be courses, let's face it, you can be creative and make courses that teach people. So I think creative starving artist is, again, it's a broad term, isn't it? So you think differently, you feel differently, and you feel the odd one out in the room. That's you. Yeah. Remind me of the question before I go in, because you said definition. Some tips. Yeah, that was it. Tips. Menopause brain doesn't allow me to retain information for more than 3 seconds, right? So tips, I think the first thing is to look at, find your people. Number one, find your people. Build your network online by finding groups and finding people that you resonate with that will actually get you. That's really super important. And you'll find people that you think will get you, and then they won't. Get rid of them. So be ruthless, bring people in, be ruthless and get rid of them if they're not serving you. But if you are resonating with someone, that's going to help you to learn. If you come across somebody who knows what they're doing and seems to be successful, get into their world and go and ask them how they did it. That's tip number 2. Go and ask them how they did it. You don't have to work with them, but most people will be relatively honest with you. They might try and sell you something, but that's okay. You don't have to buy it. But do ask them how they did it. Do consider investing in yourself, in somebody that can help you. But before you go and invest loads of money, go and consume their free stuff. Go and see if that stuff resonates with you. Like you said about the money mindset talk that I did, it resonated with you. So you then knew that, you know, I had stuff that was going to resonate with you. So do your market research into anybody that you think you might want to work with. That's so important. I've had women come to me that have spent thousands on other people that haven't moved them forward.
Yeah.
And some of them tens of thousands. And then they've come to me and they've gone out at the other end with the business that they truly wanted. So you have a duty as a business owner. It's an investment. You wouldn't go and invest in a car if it didn't have an MOT and it, you know, and it had the wheel hanging off at the back and no wing mirrors. You wouldn't buy it, would you? So
I also think when you say resonates as well, it's like you wouldn't also go and buy a car that's small when you need a big family car to suit you.
No.
Same with your and your mentor, isn't it? They've got to resonate, because that car's not going to resonate. They're not going to fit the kids in the back. It's a nice little big family car, yeah.
Totally. And that's right. What suits you in your life where you are at right now? Where can that person move you to? And they might not be the only person that you need. You may need a series of people along the way. You've experienced that, Dani. Yeah. And a lot of the ladies that I work with have experienced that, where they've worked with other people, then they've come to me and it's different, but that's not for everybody either. If I had somebody really linear thinking that needed a, you know, to-do list of do this, they wouldn't get along with me. I'd be Marmite for them. So people will either like you or not. That's why I'm saying do your research. And finally, I suppose the biggest tip, know that you have sheer brilliance in something. You are brilliant. You are not like anybody else. You are an individual who has a skill or a talent. You are a genius at that. Focus on that thing and be even better at it and step into the role of an expert in that one thing.
Yeah, well, I'm an example of that, because I did that last year. And when I became the queen of business organisation, it took off. And I've seen that with the lady who does the signature canvas, and many of your clients, many other people I've connected with who have done that. And you're an example of it as well as the genius art consultant, because people think the first that piques curiosity.
Yeah.
Consultant, and like, what's that all about? But also there's no other creative genius consultant out there, and it really speaks to people, and like you say, resonates as well. I love that. It really has been amazing to hear that as well and dig deeper into it. Where can everybody find you if they want to come and connect with you? And tell us all of the things you do as well, because you do a lot.
I do loads. Yeah, and they can find, I've got two websites. We've got mandynicholson.co.uk, which is where you can find all of my courses, programs, about me, all the quirky stuff, all my art's on there, all my books. So like you say, I'm an artist, I paint, I sell some of my work. I'm an author, you can buy my books. A lot of people read my book and end up working with me. But I also have my creative retreat place here in Scotland, my mini castle, where you can come for bed and breakfast, or you can come for a 4-day or 7-day retreat. So that website is the artbankdalbeatty.com. But you can find me on all the socials, either as the Creative Genius Consultant or Mandy Nicholson.
Actually, we didn't mention the castle, so I think we need to mention that. So one of the things on that money mindset session that Mandy talked about was this castle that she was chasing the big dream of, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. But then I saw her do it, and like you said, people read your book and then come to work with you, which is exactly what I did. And Mandy, I'm still waiting on book 2. I
I
know
know
it's
everybody
coming,
is.
but I am waiting on that, and it's been a wait because it's been a few years. But yeah, I'm excited to read the next part of the story. But that story really captured my attention because it opened my eyes to, oh, we can literally just decide what we want to create. And I've actually done that. I manifested this house I'm sat in. And I've seen you do it with your castle. I've been to visit your mini castle and I love it. So let's hear a little bit about that journey because we haven't talked about that, and I think it's really important to talk about it.
It is. I've been working, I mean, for decades now, I've been working with The Secret. And if you haven't read or watched The Secret, you must. And if you haven't, where have you been? So I've been working with the principles of The Secret. And I'm a great believer as a creative in visually manifesting the things that you want. So I love vision boards. I've been doing them for years and manifested everything. But I also mind map as well. So as I speak to you, I've got a 4-foot mind map in front of me with all my goals on it and my vision board to the left of me. So I manifested my dream home. And when I manifested my dream home and bought it for cash, I then put a castle on my vision board. I wanted a castle in Scotland where I could run retreats for creative women from around the world. And I didn't just put a picture on my vision board, I costed it. I actually signed up to all the estate agents in Scotland, investigated how much it would cost for a castle, tried to do some viewings, but it was COVID and I couldn't view anything. So I just basically logged all the castles and I found the perfect castle. It's Brecon Castle in near Dundee. And that's what was on my vision board. And I was like, yeah, it might take me 10 years, but I'm going to do this. That was very much the vision, and the mind map was working out how much money I needed. And then in 2020, COVID hit us, didn't it? So, and I lost my husband, Gary. He died at the start of COVID, which was devastating. But having been to rock bottom once before, I realized that, nothing can stop you in your tracks if you know that you can recover from things. So 11 months after Gary died, I decided I was just going to move to Scotland and feel my goal of owning a castle more deeply. So I put the house up for sale and sold it that afternoon for the full asking price from a cash buyer. And I was like, oh, I better go and find somewhere to live now. And I was viewing houses, and the universe presented me this house that I ended up buying. My daughter texted me and said, have you seen this one in Dalbeatty? She found it. And I put it between 2 other viewings and came to have a look at it. And it's an ex-bank, and it was a mini version of the very castle on my vision board, down to the walled garden, the sweeping staircase. It was just smaller. And I thought, well, the universe has given me what I can afford now. So I bought it, renovated it, and the Art Bank Dalbeatty was born. And I run creative retreats and do fantastic, the best breakfast in Scotland, I've been told.
Lovely.
Yeah, so it sits so nicely with my coaching business. A lot of the clients we've actually now incorporated into the Creative Mastermind, that you get a mini retreat when you join the mastermind. So if you come onto my 12-month program, you get me for 12 months, you get all the benefits and all the teaching in the mastermind, and you get to come to Scotland too. So it was a nice synergy with what I already had as a business. And
Yeah.
I have loved, it's just been like a giant canvas. I've loved doing it. So my 10-year plan became a 2-year plan and I'm living it now.
It's beautiful as well. I went and stayed last year with Mandy for a night and we had the famous Scottish breakfast. It's the best bed you'll ever. I don't sleep out well. And I actually said to you, didn't I, before I went on, Mandy, what mattress is that? Because when I get into my new house, I'm going to buy one of those. And I spent a lot of money on this beautiful mattress and I do not regret it. And then just the art on the walls and just such a beautiful place. And I know I'm going to be coming back again, but for a longer stay, I think is needed. And to be creative as well. So it is amazing. So if you want to explore your creativity whilst working on your business and your mindset and your dreams and goals, Mandy does all of that for you, and helps you change the narrative when it comes to being a starving artist. So I've got one final question, which is what I asked all my guests on here. And considering I'm a little mini you, we always joke about this, don't we? I'm a mini Mandy. I'm interested in what you say, because I know it's going to align with me. But my question is always, what would you reckon is the best way that you find to keep your business to be organised?
To be organized, I think everybody's got to find the thing that works for them. And I have a system called rocks, pebbles, and sand, where I prioritize it comes off of my mind map into my planner, for the year, then monthly, then quarterly, then monthly, then weekly, then daily. So all of my goals align to my overall vision. And I use rocks, pebbles, and sand. Rocks are, you can't move them when they're in the diary, they're fixed. Pebbles can be trickled over a couple of days because you can move a pebble, and sand can filter over into another week or another month because it's not as important, but rocks never change. And I highlight those in my diary using a traffic light system. And I need a manual diary because I'm a creative, and connecting to writing it down and then highlighting it and prioritizing it keeps me on track. And without it, I don't do stuff. So
Yeah.
If it's not in there, it don't get done.
I'm exactly the same. Thank you so much, Mandy. I have loved this. So do head over to social media, find Mandy Nicholson and connect with her and more about being a creative genius.
Thank you, Dani.